Barcelona, the first race of the European calendar in Formula One. Barcelona's always been a fun circuit for me. You know, we do a lot of testing here in the winter. It's a very high-speed circuit. Aerodynamics are very important. We rocked up here with a new aerodynamic package, which is an improvement. Not sure it's quite as big as what we expected and what we hoped for, but hopefully we can look at the reasons for that and get the best out of it at future races. A lot of people had new packages, and the Ferrari was the car that's really made a big leap forward. Everyone else really, it's difficult to see a big difference comparing the teams. On Friday, I struggled with the car a little bit, with the balance of it. I couldn't get to grips with the new package. I found that the rear was moving too much for me, change of direction and a few other errors. Rubens was very, very fast. He could get the car to work well. So we did a lot of setup work on Friday, and the car started to improve, but still not quick enough. Then overnight, we changed a few things, looked at Rubens' setup, took a couple of things from what they had, and obviously not exactly the same because we have very, very different driving styles. Saturday morning, the balance was much better, and we just kept improving the car all the way through Saturday morning. So I was more and more happy with the car, and it also changed my driving style a little bit. Had to be a bit more aggressive with the car, sort of had to be a bit aggressive through the corners, and not just on entry but also on exit. You see a lot of sideways action shots and wheel spin, which is quite unusual for me, but it's the way it had to be. Q1 in qualifying went well. I was reasonably quick, but our pace compared to the Red Bulls and a few others was not that special. Q2, Rubens set a blistering pace. He went quickest, and I think I was 2.5 tenths off. Just couldn't get the car working on low fuel that well, and the rear was moving around once again. And a few other people were very quick. Massa put in some great times, and Vettel and Webber and Rosberg even. Going into Q3, obviously more fuel on board. I knew that my pace would be better. I seem to work better with higher fuel, and our car does also. First run on used tyres went okay, had a bit of traffic, didn't get the best lap out of it. And then on new tyres right at the end, I just about got over the start and finish line with 1 second to spare when I started my lap. It was a good lap, enjoyed the car at that moment with the fuel on board, and was able to sort of get the most out of it, which I couldn't on the lower fuel. Crossed the line, lots of cheering in my ears from my engineer Shove and everyone else. I'd got pole position, and a little bit unexpected, but yeah, it was the most enjoyable Saturday I've had probably in my racing career. To get a pole position here and sort of get one up on Rubens was a great feeling. Especially around the circuit, he's very quick at. Sunday, we knew the fuel figures, and we knew that Vettel was stopping a couple of laps later than me, and Massa was also, and Rubens sort of a lap and a half later. Worked that one out. But I got a reasonably good start, and I pulled away from Vettel, who got a poor start. But I could see Rubens in my mirrors, and he'd got a very good toe off me, and went down the outside of me into turn 1 and got me through turn 1. And then it was very difficult. We had the safety car. So I was sitting behind Rubens, warmed my tyres up for a few laps, and then the safety car came in. I had no chance of overtaking him, really. It's very difficult around here. Towards the end of the stint, I was like, Rubens, come on, you got to push a little bit harder, because I was stuck behind him, and I need to get a good gap to the cars behind, like Massa and Vettel. We ended up getting a good enough gap. The team decided to put me on a 2-stop strategy, not a 3-stop. 3-stop was the preferred strategy all weekend for our team. They put me on a 2-stop because Rosberg was doing a very long first stint, and Rubens could still stay in front of him with his strategy, but in the position I was in, I would be stuck behind Rosberg, and I wouldn't make the 3-stop strategy work. They put me on a 2. Didn't quite understand why at that moment in time, and then I came out the pits, and Shove said, "You got to push so hard now." But I had a lot of fuel on board. I didn't want to destroy the tyres, but I had to push. It's very, very aggressive. A lot of oversteer, even on lap 4, and I was getting worried I was going to destroy the tyres, but I didn't. the car felt good, and I put in some good lap times, and really that is where I won the race. You know, that area of the race, I didn't let Rubens get too far ahead on a 3-stop. And then it came to the last pit stops, and I was ahead by 7 seconds, I think, of Rubens. I made the hard tyre work at the end, whereas most people couldn't, and came home with sort of a 12-13 second lead. So an amazing weekend, and very, very emotional weekend, because it's been really, really difficult to get a good balance with the car for me. So to come away with a victory here is exceptional. You know, it's a great feeling for me. 14-point lead going into Monaco. Yeah, very happy with the weekend, and I think as a team we did a great job. Rubens was P2, and we're leading the constructors and the drivers by quite a bit now. So yeah, and also really nice that my mum and my sister were here. One of my sisters, Natasha, you know, they don't get to come to many races, so yeah, lots of love to them. And if you want to find out more, you can go onto my website, which is jensonbutton.com.